Hi YouTubers, resellers, and thrifters. My name is Carrie and my channel here on YouTube is Be Carried Away. Thank you so much for finding me. If you're new here, welcome. And if you are a regular subscriber, I'm back. I'm doing more videos. I'm traveling between upstate New York and New Jersey, which is going to be kind of a regular thing for me for the next year because of our work situations. And so I decided to stop off at a Salvation Army I'm in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's really crowded here. There's tons of cars in the parking lot. I wasn't really planning to go thrifting today, but I have surgery tomorrow on my foot. So I am going to just get in one last thrift trip before I'm, kind of down and out for a couple of weeks, just, recovering, resting. So let's go in and see what we can find. I'm here with my sidekick, Becky Beck. He's laying down back there. He's tired. He's used to this drive. So I don't have any agenda and I'm kind of just going to go in and see what I can find. I'm hoping maybe there's some sort of sale today because it's so crowded. And we'll just look for vintage clothing, high-end clothing, and we'll just see what we see. So come with me. So I love this weather because even if I'm traveling back and forth with Beck from New Jersey to upstate New York, he can hang in the car for a little bit and it's nice and cool outside, so I'm able to go in. So there's a lot of cars here at the Scranton Salvation Army. So I'm excited to go in and see what's in there. Immediately I go to the shoes. This is just my go-to. I find first pickup these Allegria, and they're $7.99, but that color is on sale today, so those are only $4. So those are definitely going in the cart, even though it's off season. Technically, this is November, but I'm willing to pick those up. So this is a brand that I usually do pick up called Soft. They're extremely expensive. Upwards of $100 retail, but they wanted a bit of money for them. The style wasn't anything fabulous, so I did put those back. These were pretty cool. $7.99. They were only $4 because they were blue. Not familiar with the brand, not familiar if they're vintage or not, and a really unique design. So those would definitely be long tail. Now, this looks like every reseller's dream. There are just carts full of boots and shoes. Everything's banded, so they're all together, which is nice. And you just really have to dig through. So I'm looking at just pretty much everything. I immediately look at first condition, so I do pick up the soles. You want to look at the soles, you want to twist them a little bit. Here I find a pair of Uggs. These are classic Cardi Uggs. I've actually sold these before. I'm curious what the price is going to be. They definitely would be marked up at my thrift store, but they're not. They're only $9.99, so they go immediately in the cart. And I'm going to look them over for condition and authenticity and things like that when I sit down with everything, but I toss them right in the cart. So nothing else that really jumps right out at me. Some things are marked up a little bit, but these are the new items that are about to go out on the shelves, so it's nice to get a preview, be the first one to kind of take a look at them. I'm being a little bit picky. This is, I do have a lot of inventory right now. I think I'm also on a really quick, kind of 1 hour thrift trip, so I'm being extra picky. There are probably a lot of pairs in there that I might have picked up on a different day if I was in my home area, didn't have to transport everything. I do immediately still gravitate to anything with an animal print, leopard print. Those were just cheaply made. I do sometimes pick up really high platform, but generally if I pick up high platform, they're going to be something more club looking. Those beige were just a little bit kind of boring. Some potential Nikes. I didn't think these were in very good condition. Again, I do love shoes, but I did put them in my cart, but I ended up not picking them up. And again, some more leopard print, but those were actually really really cheaply made. They were Time and True, which is by Walmart, I believe. So sometimes they'll trick your eye. You know, you pick them up and look at them, and you can immediately tell when you pick it up. It feels very lightweight, just doesn't feel quality. And so I do put that back. So, you know, as you can see, I kind of pick everything up, look through it. Now, once I'm done with the shoes, I head through the nightgowns and intimates. I don't look at those. I usually do, but I decide to head over to an area with the dressy prom and evening gowns and dresses. I don't know if you watch her, but a great channel is Jessie Shops, and Jessie is the queen of selling the 80s vintage prom dresses, and she's been doing really well with them, and so I thought I would go over and take a look and see what I could find. This was absolutely beautiful. Showmax Originals. The beading on this was absolutely exquisite, just gorgeous. Look at those almost Capulet type sleeves. Now, I did comp that, and it didn't comp out very well. Those are hard to sell. They're very long tail items, which I don't generally mind, but the price was high. It was also $29.99. This was a really cute Tommy Hilfiger dress. Again, it was full price. I had just come out, so $9 for that. I felt was a little high. I don't generally do that well with Tommy Hilfiger. I do find quite a lot of it because he was born and raised here in upstate. Well, I'm in Scranton here, but in upstate New York, where I live, and so we find quite a bit. I don't see any dresses that really catch my attention. I'm kind of just, you know, all over the place. I don't have a lot of time. So my next stop is coats. I do suggest that when you don't have a lot of time, you pick a couple of areas and you go through them thoroughly. I don't recommend just wandering around the store looking for things to catch your eye. Now, here's a vintage coat. So I do pull this out. I look at the buttons. I look at the price. It's $14.99, but it's blue is half price. So for only $7.50, this is definitely something I'm going to unbutton and take a look at. I do end up picking this up, and it's in gorgeous condition, fully lined, all the buttons complete. So for a half price pickup, I do take that coat, and I continue to look through. Again, my suggestion is to look at all of the pieces, look at them in depth, you know, get your eyes on the label, the price, the condition. So blue catches my eye because it's 50% now. This coat, really pretty. Shagmore Special, $29.99. Green was also on sale. It was blue and green, and so I did pick that up. It was $15. That orange coat is something that I have not listed yet, but I can't wait to get it cleaned up and listed, and that was a pickup. I did take that home with me. So I continue to go down the aisle looking at all of the coats. This one sort of caught my eye a little bit. It's a color block vintage windbreaker, but those are a little bit out of style, and the price was kind of high for it, so I did not pick that one up. I'm just looking through. This was really pretty, this April. I don't know this brand, but again, very pretty collar. I did not end up picking that up. I did comp it out, and it just didn't comp where it would sell, you know, for a high enough profit for me. So I'm continuing to go through all of the coats. I just find that, you know, there are things that hide. I do have a really early, one of my first ever videos was the black coat aisle, and I just recently sold my final coat that was in that black coat aisle video. Things can hide, you know, you really want to pull it out, take a look, make sure you get your eyes on that label especially. And that's particularly so if you're looking for vintage. Things can be kind of tucked in. They might be simple, they might not be a bright color. Black is an easy one to miss. They get sort of fuzzy, and they can get lint on them. So this was a really pretty leather jacket. It was not on sale with white, and I just thought $20 was too high for that. Same with that one. Jean jackets I do look at, but they need to be Levi's, and those were not, so I passed through those. So this has gone from kind of, winter coats, and they've included some blazers and things like that. And then I get up to the other area and I see that so here's my pile, and I'm going to go through this, and we're going to take a look and see what I pick up, what I keep, what I list, and what I leave behind. The second half of this video is about what I chose to keep and what I chose to put back. So I have about 32 or 33 items that I did pick up and put in the cart, meaning that, I'm screening things on the rack. So I'm going through, I'm looking at color, design, brand, price, and condition. And I'm saying, okay, this is gonna go into the cart. Then I do it a second time. I go and I sit down in the furniture area, wherever I might be, and then I start to either run comps. I don't run comps on every single thing. That would be a little misleading, because if I know for a fact it's a brand I'm gonna pick up, like a Woolworth, like a Patagonian, North Face, certain shoe brands, Dansko, I don't comp those right then. I know I'm gonna purchase them. So this is not comping for how I'm going to price it. This is comping for, am I going to pick it up? Am I going to purchase it? So I'm going to show you here, did I list it or did I leave it? And these are items that have already gone through my sort of, screening process. They did make it into my cart, and then it's, do I actually list it, bring it home, or do I leave it? So that's what I'm gonna go through with you now. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you're having a great holiday season start to it. Bye. Okay, so I found this cache, which is a group of 4 pieces, women's, Brooks Brothers. All of it is either new with tags or new without tags. 2 of the pieces had tags. 2 of the other pieces clearly were brand new as well. So they might have been old store stock. They might have been brought in by, a Macy's that went out of business or something like that. Regardless, they had blue tags on them. So these are 50% off. So for $2.50, here's a really pretty cowl neck. This one is 100% merino wool, which is the very high-end, ultra soft wool that people love to wear. And it's also a women's size XL. It has that really pretty, here's the new with tag, 100% merino wool, size XL, which is a great size. And then it has that shawl neck collar, giving it some interest, and just beautiful condition. So am I going to leave that, or am I going to list it? I'm definitely going to list it. That's absolutely a no-brainer. Now, here's another piece that was part of it. And I'm listing this new without tags, giving you the hint, I'm probably going to keep this, right? $2. Brooks Brothers, fabulous brand, gorgeous color in this magenta fuchsia with the white trim. V-neck cardigan, also a women's larger size. I'm pretty sure that's either a large or an extra large. Am I going to leave that behind? Absolutely not. This one is an easy call, and it's a listed. So this is already listed in my store. Now, upcoming is another piece found with that same grouping. So you're probably thinking, well, it must be another listed. This one is also $2, a beautiful V-neck. It does not have the tags, but it clearly has never been washed. It's straight from the store, but it does not have the tags. Also a really nice fabric. I'd have to look at the tag to tell you. This one might be the silk and cotton piece, but it does have a small flaw on the seam on the back right there. So easily repairable, but do I want to take the time to repair that? So I'm just going to do a quick comps. What do these actually go for? So I'm looking up Brooks Brothers sweaters, women's, and I'm clicking on sold. So it's going to show me what's sold and for how much. So I want to make sure it's going to be worth my time. Am I going to pick up the one with the small flaw where, I'm going to have to sit down, get the thread out? So this one is Brooks Brothers $346 merino wool. So let's see. $15.99, $34, 16, 19. It's kind of all over the place. They definitely do sell. The sell-through rate, I don't think I have right off the top of my head here, but just, scrolling through, you can see that they're getting a pretty good price. Runs from a low of the high teens to upwards of, $30 or so. So I'm going to make it a little more specific now. Merino wool V-neck. Let's try to zero in. Sometimes you want to expand your search, and sometimes you want to narrow it down. I really want to see, is this particular piece going to be worth me listing it? Are people picking up these Brooks Brothers? Yep, they are. So based on my comp that I did in the store, that one's absolutely a pickup. Here's another one. Now this one, for some reason, is marked white and it's not 50% off. This one is $4.99. So the style is a little bit different. It's equally as pretty. It's another magenta fuchsia color. This is a medium petite. It's also merino wool, and it's also in new without tags condition. So I don't see a tag on it, but it looks brand new, just like the others. Now this one also has a flaw, but if you see where that flaw is, that one looks much more difficult to repair because it's not on a seam. So I don't take the time to comp that. Do I list this? No, I decide to leave this behind. I feel like if someone's buying something new with tags or new without tags, that's a pretty, obvious repair. That one's not on a seam. It's not something that's going to be able to be hidden. So at full price, I decide to leave that one behind. Now, this is a great idea. When you have lots of colors, they're a little bit, off the main, color. They might be a shade darker or lighter, and they're not as easy to describe. It's a really good idea to include in your listing a picture of a shade list and different shades of pink, and kind of circle or indicate which one it is. So here I can say it's fuchsia, and I can give an exact example of what color it is, and it helps the buyer. So this one is another shade of pink. So you can tell that I was doing what I do, and that is to go down particular aisles and go through them in detail. So I've gone through the pink aisle, and that's where I'm coming up with all of these really beautiful sweaters. Now, this one is not Brooks Brothers. This one is also not half price. This is $4.99. It's an open front cardigan, and I'm not familiar with the brand, so I do have to look that brand up. I'm going to show you the tag here in a minute, as well as the materials tag. So it looks to me like it was made in Italy. Now, that's always a plus. And it's I couldn't quite see it here, Bellard. But in high-end brands, sometimes you can look on the materials tag and you'll get a better, there it is, Belford. So this is 55% silk and 45% cashmere. Beautiful fabrics, really pretty Belford. Now, I'm not familiar with this brand, and even though I'm an experienced seller, I do find if I'm going to pay full price, $5 for something, I want to see, do other people know Belford? Are they looking for Belford? I want to see if that's the case. So I do some comps. So I type in Belford, and I see some really nice pieces that have gone for high money. There's a silk spandex. There's a twin set. Now, it looks like they were sold, some of them at Saks Fifth Avenue, all looking really, really good. But then I see that some of the other ones, even 100% cashmere, are only going in the high teens. So if I bought something for $5 and only sold it for $19.99, I'm not so sure about that. Now here are some, but they're 100% cashmere, and they have tags even, and it's going for less. So am I going to take this one or not? This one that's a hard pass. I decide to leave that behind. If that had been half price, I'm pretty sure I would have taken it. But given the brand is not really quite a household name, I decided to leave it behind. So that's a hard pass. So that one could have been, list it or leave it. I'm sure it would have sold. I probably would have made, $7 or $8 or $9 on it. But I do have a lot of inventory right now, and just the open cardigan style, I thought it would be something that was fairly common. There's going to be a lot of open cardigans in a pink color, and I just decided on this particular trip that I was going to leave that one behind. Hard pass. That one wasn't easy. So the next piece that I found was this really pretty, again, you can see how these shades of pink are all so, slightly subtle differences. This is a mauve color, and that's why that color shading box is really good to include. So this is really pretty. It has a little embroidered, those are not pearls or seeds, that's actually embroidery in the white. Really pretty color, and I don't know the brand. I'm not familiar with it, but this is excellent. Made in Italy. This is the one that was made in Italy. So it's made in Italy, merino wool, viscose, cashmere, nylon, beautiful fabrics, really pretty color. And it's heck glue. Unfortunately, my Salvation Army has started to put the tags directly on the labels. They never used to do that. It does make sourcing a little bit more difficult. It's a good size. It's a women's large. So lots of really good things going for it, other than, is this a searchable brand? I've got to kind of figure out what that brand is. So I've got to move the tag around a little bit, figure it out, and then I'm going to do comps on this. So I'm going to type this in. I do figure out what it is. It's an Italian brand, and it's HEKLA and Company. So Hekla and Company. So I do go and find a few. The prices were not particularly high for the quality of the fabrics and being made in Italy. So here are a couple in the $20 range. Not sold. So I go to solds, and it gets even worse. So there's one, $6. Now that was an auction. You have to take auctions with a grain of salt, because, it means that one person, yes, they got it for $6 because that's what the buyer started it at. If that seller had started that at $28.99, maybe that buyer would have bought that. It's where the auction kind of didn't work because there wasn't more than one person going for the item. But these prices don't look too great. So what do I think about Hekla? I'm going to leave it behind. Partly it was the brand, partly it was the style. It wasn't anything super unique. And then a little bit of it was the condition. You can't really tell in these pictures, but it did have a little bit of fuzz. I probably might have had to do a little bit of, defuzzing, depilling with my shaver, and I just didn't feel like the return was worth the time I would have to put into it. So that was a leave it. Again, I'm still in the pink sweater aisle, and I do pull this out. Now this one is $3.99. It's full price. This, in contrast to the last one, is absolutely exquisite condition. So I'm pretty shocked when I take a look at the label, and this is a vintage sweater. It looks like it has been in a drawer for many years and carefully kept in a drawer, because it really looks in just beautiful condition. Made in Hong Kong, so I can tell that this is maybe the 70s or 80s. There are some lists that you can look at that will tell you where an item was made and how that will correlate with the years that it was made. When were most things being made in Hong Kong? When were most things being made in Taiwan, which is another country where items were made in the 70s and 80s. So they're vintage. So this is by a company called Windborne, and I don't know it, but it's Seattle, Washington. It's 100% wool. It's a women's size large. Lots of things going for it, so I've never heard of it. Let's do a little bit of comping right here in the store. So I see some recent sales, October 31st, November 15th, and they're going for, 20s, 30s, $20 or $30, similar kinds of styles. I'm looking both at solds and also at what is available. So you do want to look at solds, absolutely, but it does help to go and look and see what is out there currently for sale as well, because that's what your item is going to be competing with at the moment. I decide to take this, I decide to list it. I like what the comps look like. I'm getting this for just I think that was half price. So I think that was $2. Absolutely gorgeous condition, 100% wool, but it's a really, really nice soft wool. It's not scratchy. So lots of things going for it that I can list. And the Windborne Company is out of Seattle, Washington. So items that are not necessarily made in the United States, but designed in the United States are something that is definitely sought after, particularly when you're looking at vintage. So this is going to be listed as a vintage ski sweater, something really nice to hang out with in this winter. So that was a listed. Okay, now I'm moving into shades of red here. This is a really unique looking sweater. Now this was full price. This is a cardigan, but it has this really funky, cool, pleated look to it. So the fabric is actually pleated. It has big balloon sleeves that you can't quite see in this picture. And then it has that contrast knitted area up on the top with the checkered look. So I'm looking through at different colors. This is kind of an off red, cherry red color. This is the back, so you can see it has the pleated area on the bottom. This is right up my alley. This is different. It's not something that you're gonna see a lot of. It's not a basic. It's something really quite unique, so someone can style this in many different ways. The brand, again, it's covered up by my tag, but it's called the Castle Collection. So I'm wondering if this is something related to Castleberry, which is a really high-end brand that I do like to pick up. So I'm thinking about that. I look at the tag. I want to see what it's made of. 50% wool and 50% acrylic. That's great. It's a nice wool blend, very soft. And so this has a lot going for it. So I do not do comps on this in the store. I don't take the time to do that because this has so many things going for it. I think this could be really cool style. I think someone who likes a unique, eclectic look is going to want to pick this up. So that is definitely a list it for me, even at full price, just because it's vintage. And when I do look up the company, it is a good company. It is, I don't believe it's part of Castleberry, but it does have a following. So that was a good pickup. Next is a sweatshirt, also in red. Here it is. This is just the cutest, sweetest little thing. It has this embroidery, dogs, puppies on here, and these are Scotty dogs. Now, if you know anybody who has a Scotty dog, Scottish Terrier, they are over the moon for their breed, and this is a great breed to pick up. Now, this is a vintage sweatshirt. This is Rebecca Malone. Nice size. It's an XL. That's probably how it got into my cart. I think I would have picked this up at any size because of the Scotty dog embroidery, and that is absolutely a list it without even looking it up, without anything. I don't need to do comps on that. I just know that the Scottish Terriers and the good condition are going to sell this sweatshirt for me. So that's a list it. Okay, here is another really unique. This is houndstooth / color block, really, with a cowl neck. Really lightweight, and the tag is really ripped up. I don't know if you can even see it in that picture. I am going to tack that back on the sweater. Here it is. So it's made in Italy. The brand was Bivy, and I wasn't familiar with it, but again, the style, the lightweight wool, the really cool, unique look, that's a list it. So that's a list it without even needing, again, to take the time to comp. So while I say comp everything, sometimes if it's vintage, I don't necessarily need to comp. I'll go on style, because when something is vintage, people are looking at it for how they can wear it individually in a unique way, how they can style it. They're not necessarily looking just for a brand name, especially with vintage. So with current and modern things, I do look absolutely at brand. Brand is probably number one for me, but with vintage, that takes a second seat to style. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at these pickups.